Welcome back inside number 9, where this week we entered a completely unexpected realm. As advertised, we were due an On the Buses themed caper, yet what we actually received was something rather different. I'm going to talk about this latest episode, giving my own thoughts and feelings, meaning there will be spoilers ahead. And before I start, if you'd like to enter another unexpected realm, why not subscribe to Stu's top secret project, The Horror Exchange? Be one of the first to discover its riches. The link is down below. Right then, Series 8, Episode 5. Hold on tight. At least that's what we expected. The title here, when given the now fake promotional images, makes you imagine passengers holding on tight during a bumpy bus journey. However, it was the audience that needed to hold on tight while they jumped on the replacement bus service and travelled into the most untethered episode since Deadline. Series 8, Episode 5. 3x3. Yet, where this was a huge risk that paid off for Deadline, with 3x3, I don't think that this episode across the board winds up making a huge impact from its concept. The number 9 element this week is a remarkably true-to-life British quiz game show named 3x3, and 3x3 of course equals, Lee Mack is the host here, playing himself, and he does a remarkable job at being himself. He's got that standard wit and charm with the odd clean comedy gag smushed into the furniture. All 9 guests, none of which are Steve or Reece, also put in a good shift in coming across naturally. This episode doesn't feel like it's scripted or acted for 95% of it. I genuinely found myself googling if Lee Mack had a new game show out, then questioning myself because you wouldn't air something like this at 10 PM on BBC Two. There's no reason why number 9 would be rescheduled, and the game show's name is a dead giveaway. Therein lies an issue I had with 3x3 though. I had to use a search engine to query if what I was watching actually was inside number 9, because the majority of this episode doesn't feel out of place. The strange element to this one is that one of the contestants, Catherine, surprisingly knows the answers to some really tough questions. At least tough for her, one would assume, due to her age. Though sometimes she takes quite a long pause to be able to reach a verdict and then hits out a correct answer out of nowhere. As the episode reaches its climax, we can see that Catherine is able to psychically link to people and put the answers in their minds. Basically, she's got telepathic abilities and carries herself a bit like Eleven from Stranger Things. Here though, her abilities are used to make other contestants give ridiculously bad answers, ensuring that she reaches the final. The grand finale is her pushing her powers too far and making her own mother's head explode. It was a shockingly brutal end, but that's it. You can summarise this episode very quickly, and even on a second watch, yes, you can see little moments of Catherine's influence that you never clicked onto before, but going through that wave again of introducing the show and introducing all the guests and going through each question, knowing how they're answered, honestly, nearly 25 minutes of this episode doesn't feel like it's inside number 9. It does have that supernatural twist, but it only comes in effectively at the end of the episode. It made this one a struggle to rewatch because the usual things that make me want to rewatch number 9 episodes, such as great dramatic performances, cool unique settings and concepts, identifying little moments of foreshadowing I'd not seen before, were almost missed here. Yes, there was some notable foreshadowing in hindsight, though it wasn't done using the symbolism or any dialogue hints. It was just Catherine looking a bit stern. As for the setting, it's just a generic BBC game show, and for the great dramatic performances, these performances were great in the sense that they felt real, but nobody gave a performance that made me want to rewatch because of their performance. Total opposite of something like a Bernie Clifton's dressing room, where no matter how much of the episode I know, it's still Steve and Reece's chemistry and talent that make me want to go back. 3x3 doesn't strictly make me want to go back to it. I'll give an example of another episode to explain why, The Devil of Christmas. See, there, for the most part, it was a generic Tales of the Unexpected style episode, which right at the very end suddenly becomes much darker. Not too dissimilar to what Hold On Tight went for, just with a quiz skeleton. However, with The Devil of Christmas, there was plenty throughout that first 95% of runtime to keep you entertained and wanting to return for a repeat viewing. The campy acting was delightful and fun. All the intentional flubs and mistakes happening were a good laugh. The added element of Derek Jacobi's commentary gave it an extra storytelling element, and the aesthetic value of being made using archaic TV equipment gave it an added charm. With 3x3, however, it's a bit too crisp, a bit too real, and a bit too normal for the bulk of the runtime. It could have been a great little romp of an episode had the paranormal twist occurred halfway through, and then the second half of the runtime was Catherine going on a rampage in the TV studio. You could have even seen Steve and Reece as two of the crew to get their appearances in, because as far as I could see, this episode didn't contain them, at least visually. Even after running back the tiny snippets of the crew during the ending's chaos, I couldn't see them. This episode could have been like Deadline meets Carrie. I think this would have at least given the episode more rewatch value and got to that exciting paranormal element quicker, rather than waiting for 28 minutes to receive a 1-minute punchline, if that. I fully appreciate Reece and Steve's constant drive for creating original and conversation-starting content, twisting preconceived norms and injecting a dose of their dark creative energy. However, with experimentation comes the risk of success and failure, though failure would be too harsh a word to describe 3x3. I simply think that out of the bold experiments Steve and Reece have attempted so far, this one had the weakest result for myself on a personal level. It's a creative idea, but just wasn't the right amount of quirky and pulled its triggers a little too late in the game. Overall, 3x3 was a fun idea, but could have been fleshed out even further to provide a more memorable and rewatchable experience. However, that's just my honest review. What's yours? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're down there, if you haven't already, a sub to the channel would be greatly appreciated to help us on our journey towards our next target of 35,000 subscribers. And once again, don't forget to check out the Horror Exchange. Thanks in advance. Join me next week when I shall be sinking my teeth into the grand finale of Series 8, The Last Weekend, inside number 9.